It's another solid quarter for Walmart in the fourth quarter. They did come out with conservative guidance, which is pretty typical for Walmart. Come out with cautious guidance and then exceed it later in the year, which is sort of their playbook. And then their guidance was also paired with some warning signs or cautious outlook about the economy, which I found interesting.
Yeah, I want to pick up on that idea because the CFO talked to Bloomberg and mentioned that tariff-driven inflation has reached or is reaching its peak, which I thought was really interesting given that there's so many people expecting rate cuts later on this year, given that inflation seems to have settled down. What more can they tell us about pricing?
I think they told us that prices rose 1% in the quarter, which I think was the same as the last quarter. But they also mentioned other things like tepid job growth, student loan delinquencies rising, consumer sentiment being uneven, things that, would give any CEO or CFO or company pause when they're trying to outlay what might happen in the coming year.
And I've noticed over the last couple of years, they've talked about how maybe their customer base is changing a little bit. People, some middle class, maybe even upper income areas coming down to Walmart. They're seeing more and more of that. Is that still the case?
I think, yes, that's definitely the case. And that's sort of their superpower right now. That, poor, this is the K-shaped economy that we talk about a lot. Poor customers are pulling back in areas, but what they're seeing is wealthier clientele who might not have come to Walmart in the past, shopping at Walmart, especially for things like their groceries, which they've invested in a lot in the last 10 years. You can now find organic groceries in Walmart, and that's really paying off.
And they also have this Walmart Plus program, which they're really putting a lot of emphasis on. It's actually one of the benefits if you're an American Express Platinum card holder, which speaks to that idea that they're really reaching for the higher income consumer. How's that going? And is it making any headway on stealing market share from Amazon with its Prime program?
Yeah, they're seeing a huge growth in e-commerce. I think that was one of the major areas that grew this quarter. That is drawing in higher income shoppers who actually pay even more than the membership for faster deliveries, speedier pickup times, and that's helping them also grow market share among wealthier shoppers who are looking for convenience over everything else.
So what are they saying about, did they even talk about on the conference call tariffs anymore? Is that still a discussion point? And what's the company saying about tariffs?
Yeah, tariffs came up a little bit, but they said that they, expect that tariff-driven inflation to peak now. I think they also benefit here, again, from their groceries. Yep. Groceries are a portion of their assortment that is less impacted by tariffs. And they're really benefiting from, I think 60% of their sales come from groceries these days.
You mentioned e-commerce. It sounds like Walmart will continue to invest in technology and automation. What were some of the things that they flagged that they're working on in terms of innovation and building on, the technology that they have already implemented into their system?
Yeah, it was interesting. They said most of their fulfillment in stores is now coming from automated warehouses. Most of their fulfillment for e-commerce is coming from automated warehouses. They have really made huge gains here to speed up fulfillment centers. And I think we should expect to see more of that in the coming quarters. They cited store remodels and automation as the main areas where they're going to be continuing to invest.
One of the things that's amazed me really for 10, 15 years about Walmart is how well their digital business has been, their e-commerce business. They have built that to not only, they can go toe to toe with Amazon.com on just about anything, it seems like. Is that still a growth story for them?
Yeah, I think they said something like a third. They've seen a huge amount of shoppers are now actually interacting with their AI.
Oh boy.
Their AI assistant on their app and on their website, that really helping people make shopping decisions faster. They're seeing an increasing spend from customers who interact with the AI shopping assistant, they said, which I think we can expect to see more
just
of
in
that.
the last 5 years, their EBITDA has roughly doubled. but their CapEx is tripled.
Yeah.
So
well,
they're
there's that
really
e-commerce build out, that tech build out.
Yep. So I mean, they're putting their money where their mouth is here. Wow.
You know what Paul's dream job is, Emily? Has he mentioned this to you?
No.
Be a greeter at Walmart. See, I'm a nice, friendly guy.
He wants the smock. He wants to wear the smock.
Yep.
And, but, to that point, Walmart employs about 2.1 million people,
amazing. Yeah.
which makes it a huge employer. Do we have a sense of whether they've been growing their employee base at all with this commitment to technology, to automation?
I think they've definitely made a huge investment in technology. They have a lot more people working on tech than they ever have. And I think we could expect to see more of that for sure.